Hello guys and welcome to my course. My name is Alexey Lavrenin and today I will give you step-by-step instruction on how to get ready for Selenium automation interview. If you watch this video, you should know that you're on the right track to becoming a good QA. Believe it or not, but most people think that they have basic understanding on how to pass interview. But the thing is, when I ask different testers about the interview process, I realize that 80% of you make same mistakes every time. Now let's see what these mistakes are. Here we go. 6 common mistakes 80% of people make before interview. First, and the biggest mistake is they don't prepare for interview at all. Literally, like zero preparation, and it makes me really sad. Second, they don't research the company profile. Majority of people read only job description and don't know anything about the company in general. Third, they don't research interviewers. Believe me, you can't imagine how much social media can tell you about a particular person. Then, they don't research the technology the company uses. They have no idea what is going on inside of the company. Next, they don't prepare questions for interviewers. Wow, this is really scary, because no questions means that you are not interested in this job. Finally, last one is they don't bring any handouts of their project. Guys, this is really not cool. Keep it in mind. Okay, now look at these mistakes and ask yourself, have I ever made any of these mistakes? I know you made. I made them too. And that's alright. We all make mistakes. No worries. I'm here to help you prepare yourself for any level of interview. As you may already understand, preparation is the key to success. Without preparation, you are mostly relying on luck. Meanwhile, preparation and practice make all the difference. By doing some preparation, you will feel more in control, more relaxed, and you will make good first impression. Typically, interviewers ask two types of questions, such as common and unusual. If candidate comes to interview well prepared, is interested in project, and can describe automation project in general, then there is possibility that you will not get any common or unusual questions. Moreover, interviewers will be interested in your project and they will ask you questions only regarding your project. Much easier to answer questions you know the answer to. In addition, you must do research on the company, interviewers and technology which they use. Prepare good questions for interviewers and that's it. By following these easy tips, you will pass interview without unwanted cut and task and logical questions. You will prove yourself as experienced candidate with a good automation knowledge. These simple hints will increase your chances to pass interview successfully. Now let's move to the next essential part. When it comes to your resume, you should know all the information you provided inside out, so that no question asked should come as surprise. Frequently, people think that their resume is too large, and they will not get many questions about it, but this is a huge mistake. Sometimes people add unnecessary details and information, and afterwards they can give a clear answer or explanation. Trust me, you will ask multiple times different questions about your resume. For example, you do security testing and use a proxy security scanner. Not too many people know what this tool is. That is why interviewers can ask you to tell about the scanner. People working in IT are always interested in new technologies and they learn update information and update their knowledge daily. Speaking of job description, many of you believe that what is written in job descriptions is 100% accurate. Unfortunately, I should inform you that description is only 50% of real information. For example, company is looking for someone with great leadership skills in performance testing, REST, or SOAP API testing. You will ask many questions about API testing during phone screening or interview. But when you start working, you may notice that 50% of required skills in job descriptions were optional. The company may be planning to use it in the future, but not now. I have faced it many times in different companies. Nevertheless, you should accept this fact and study your job description properly. Let's move on. Now LinkedIn. Surprisingly, but many people dismiss this part in preparation. If I have a list of interviewers, I will always research and check their position, experience, etc. You can be shocked how many experienced your interviewers are. For example, a person can have 20 years of experience and started his career at Microsoft. In this case, I understand that he is professional with high level experience and I should prepare for serious type of questions. Sometimes QA is not present during interview. It means you will get developers questions, HR questions, but not QA questions. Some people do not have LinkedIn profile, but better you check two profile out of four, that you have no idea about people you're gonna meet with. Taking into consideration that working positions play a vital role in the interview process, I have developed my personal system of questions, which provides a deep understanding of what question you will be asked. This is a system of dividing interviewers by their working position. Look at this slide. In most cases, you will not have interview with all these people, only with a few. If you know titles and experience of your interviewers, you anticipate possible questions. On top of this, guys, it is equally important to focus attention on their previous titles and background experience, not only on current, because you can speak with a project manager who has experience in testing and development. Alright, I hope I have convinced you to be very attentive to all these little aspects which play a crucial role during the interview. Now we will review each type in detail. First type. If you have phone screening or interview with technical director, project manager, or product owner, they will ask you high-level questions. For example, how do you understand the strategy of development or testing or continuous integration? These people understand the whole process in general, but don't have deep knowledge in testing. Their questions about testing are general rather than detailed. That's why don't focus on small details. Go bigger, give them a perfect testing plan for their company. Second type of questions from HR and recruiters. Obviously, HR and recruiters don't know anything about testing and automation. These people will not ask anything about test cases or bug reports, etc. Instead of this, you will get questions based on the job description and resume. Normally, they ask some common or unusual questions. Frequently asked question is what kind of team player are you? And can you give any advice for your previous boss? They want to make sure that you will easily fit into any team. Even if you are the best tester and the greatest person ever, this is their task to find a good candidate who is fitting job description on 50%. You ask me why only 50%? As I mentioned before, any job description is only 50% of reality. Keep in mind guys, apply for all positions, then you think you are fitting on 50%. Remember, every single job description has increased requirements. Recruiters want you to pass the interview because this is what they get paid for, good candidates. So if you break the ice between you and recruiter, they may help you to get ready for the interview and tell you how to improve your resume to maximize your chances. Okay, let's move on. Question from developers. Developers don't understand the strategy of testing because they are specialized in a different area. That is why they will look at the application from a different angle. Their questions are smart, technical, and logical. Pretty much they ask what they know better, code, unit tests, etc. I had interviews with senior developers many times. Unfortunately, Only some developers understand that they should not ask any developers questions, because you are not developer. Anyway, they ask about technologies, programming languages, tools for testing, use cases, and test cases. Usually they give a positive test scenario. You may be asked about tools for automation, continuous integration, and about the project in general. That is why I always focus on understanding the structure of the automation project. Sometimes this is enough to pass interviews successfully. And finally, questions from QAs. If any QA is attending your interview, then there are many case scenarios. All QAs has different background knowledge. Mostly only three types of QAs attend interviews. There are senior manual QA, SDET, and mid-level QA. Let's consider next situation. Senior manual QA being a manager or lead for 10 years, but for some reason, this QA doesn't have any experience in automation and has just basic understanding about it. He may ask you some theoretical questions about automation. However, he will ask you everything about manual testing, such as test cases, positive and negative testing, test management system, API, SQL, bugs, and bug tracking system. It means that you should revise manual testing and basic theory of automation. Another type of QA is DETs, software developer in test. People who write code like developers, make code reviews, and configure projects for automation. They ask about automation, configuration, pipeline, rather than about manual testing. That is why you must understand the project in detail. And last one. Mid-level automation tester or manual tester can ask you both questions about automation or manual testing, which are based on his personal experience. Also, practical and theoretical questions. Usually, mid-level testers do not understand the whole process of automation project, but can you ask to solve good task which they prepared in advance. So to sum it up, I would like to say this simple system works well. Please do not ignore it. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. Wonderful. Let's go further. Information is a power. You can get all information from the internet, but if you don't use it, it's useless. We should use information in the ways that benefit us the most. It turns out that each company wants to make sure you are aware about it. Under these circumstances, it's really a big deal to research the company profile. You ask why? Well, because they always ask such a questions as, what do you know about our company? What are our future goals? Do you know anything about our achievements? Or what are we proud of? What field do we work on? What technologies do we use in general? They may ask you about what is important for them. For example, company took first place as the best employer of the year and it's well-known fact. It was on TV or it's written in newspapers. You should check everything what is related to this specific company, what they are proud of. If you miss this part, this arises the question, why I'm here? Don't you want to get this job? The point is, you are already on interview. You should pass it and get positive result. If you don't show your interest and awareness about their company, they may not notice your motivation and desire to become a part of team. Great. Now let me highlight another essential aspect, technologies. When you prepare for a future interview, you should know what technology company uses, so you will not be surprised about it. Typically, when you begin to discuss technology, you can start your conversation with programming languages. You will talk about three aspects. First, programming language that a company uses for development and application. Second, language of a test framework that a company creates tests in or wants to create them in the future. Third, programming language you know. I want to remind you that in 90% of cases, QA use four most popular programming languages. They are Python, C Sharp, Java, and Ruby. Now, let's consider the following situation. For example, company uses Python for application, although they are planning to create new tests written in C Sharp. Meanwhile, you know only Java. What can I do? You can impress. Think about it. If you impress them with your project, situation with different programming languages may take second place. Sounds unreal? Well, here's my story. I had an interview with CTO, senior C Sharp developers, and manual QA manager with 16 years of experience. At that time, they didn't have automation at all. Nevertheless, I impressed them with my Java project and how good I answer all questions regarding the project. As a result, we have built all tests in Java instead of C Sharp. Moreover, no one knew Java at the company. Wow, right? During my interview, 80% of questions were about my project and those 20%. I asked my question which I had prepared in advance. They didn't ask me any difficult question at all. I would like to mention that I had never been a developer, and I was really surprised when they told me that there were 7 developers on this position, but I was the one who received this offer. I'm not a developer, yes, but I can build a new test project from scratch and explain every single process, even though that project was 5 times bigger than I used to do before. I always say you should challenge yourself. Challenges are an opportunity to test yourself and rise to the next level. Perhaps the company is writing tests in a certain language and they don't want to rewrite them, or someone decided that this certain language is the best choice. Then you will have to learn a new language in case they employ you. The company can be very flexible about languages, especially if there are no suitable candidates or no automation test. Okay, next point is automation and manual testing tools. Always be ready to discuss tools that the company uses for manual and automation testing. They may use tools you don't expect to, but if you know at least one tool, you will learn the second one easily and fast. Next important part is platforms. As an example, a company can only test web applications and then you can use Selenium or another tool that works with browsers. Your main task is to understand what kind of testing and what platforms they need. Even if they have a mobile application, it can be expensive and unprofitable to build a mobile or API automation. Or let's pretend that a company creates a mobile application. So your task is to understand what operating system and devices it's created for. The company can create very limited application only for iOS or Android, or they can be business partners with Amazon. Then you must test the application on Fire iOS. You also should know what application is being used, whether it's native or web mobile application. There are other companies that are engaged in a clean API backend. They have a very small UI, and this is pretty much an internal product. That is why the UI itself is not so important. Then you need to know what they use to automate the API and what kind of tools. For example, SOAP UI, Postman, JMeter, or API libraries. Rest assured or another one. Very rare that a company asks a tester to automate database and batch files, but it can be important for them. Therefore, it will be an advantage for you if you know how to test it. If they only do a desktop application, you can automate the desktop with the help of some libraries and a good knowledge of a programming language. But the question is if you are interested in it or can you do it. Let's just say they don't have browsers and they need to install their desktop applications on different operating systems and run automation without browsers. Always read the job description very carefully and precisely. During your interview, you should be ready to answer such questions. If after all, the company does not use the desktop, but web and mobile, then all iOS and browsers can be tested in Sales Labs. If a company makes a product for specific devices, it is possible that you will test not only software but also hardware. You can learn it, but ask yourself, do I need such experience? The market for such products may be small, within 1 or 5 companies. That is why I prefer to work with web, API, and mobile applications. I only work with popular technologies rather than custom libraries or tools. This is what will help me to find next job, get bigger salary, or get a new position. By the way, Selenium works only with browsers, but not with the API, backend, desktop, and devices. I'm pretty sure that you underestimate the value of handouts, and many people do. I always prepare handouts such as my resume, structure, and strategy of my projects. Prepare handouts for each participant of your interview. In the structure, I describe continuous integration model, UI and API tools, database and reports. I explain logical separation of project into classes, packages, and test groups. It helps me to escape unwanted questions and increase my chances to pass interview successfully. So, if you prepare handouts of your project, then the questions on the project may take up an hour at the interview. Much easier to answer the questions you know the answer to. You will make impression that you know what you are doing and talking about. You will set the direction of your conversation. Now the last but not least, what to wear for different job interview. While you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, most interviewers will judge you by your dress code. A lot of people do not pay attention to how they dress up. I live in Florida and 90% of IT people do not wear suits. Nevertheless, we are talking about interview and your first impression. Dress up like professional. It will help you to feel more confident, and what is most important, it shows your respect to interviewers and the company. As you know, confidence is 50% of success. So shine bright like a diamond. I'm just kidding, guys. Dress classy and be professional. Okay, that's it, guys. As you can see, the secret is that there is no secret at all. To pass any level of interview is not so difficult as you can imagine. Just be prepared, prepare yourself for each interview. Simply follow all my tips and advice. They really work. They 100% work. And believe in yourself always. Thank you. Bye.